Alright, here we are, everybody. Now that I have 100% completion in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens, we can take a look at all of the vehicles that I have unlocked. You do have to get 100% completion to have all of the vehicles, and you can use them in microfigure form on the actual free roam levels. So we're going to check out the microfigures. I feel like that's good enough. I'm not going to take them all out into space. And some of them can't even be used in space anyway. So let's go ahead and start off with the Endor speeder bike. Here we go. This is the popular Endor speeder bike from Return of the Jedi. And our model Boba Fett will show us how it works. They do go faster. These are useful on when you're going back and forth on the maps, especially this map. Jakku is the biggest hub world, so you'll definitely want to probably ride around on it. This is the glamour shot. So our next vehicle we're going to look at is Rey's speeder. And there you go, BB-8 on board. So obviously, this is Rey's speeder, and you jump. Oh wow! So you can actually have a passenger. No, you can actually have a passenger and a driver. So they do take some liberties with it. Clearly, they've given it some blasters, and it can go pretty fast. So, boom. I know I probably should have gotten Rey out for that, but I didn't. So, but there you go. That is Rey's speeder from Jakku, on Jakku. So, next up we have the Resistance Freight Transporter. You use this in one of the levels to move around some things. It does not have lasers, and you know, if you just want something quick and mobile and nimble to move about on your planet, then you might want to go with that. So next up, we have the Snow Speeder bike, and there you go. This is the wintry version, because obviously you don't want brown to mix in with your snow. And it's just like the Endor bike, but white. And there you go. So the Snow Speeder. Alright, next up we have the Junker Speeder bike. And this is the Hunk of Junk speeder. I don't really actually. I'm assuming this is from the Phantom Menace. Oh, it's got the fire coming out the rear because it's garbage-ski. I don't know actually what this is from, but it is one of your options. The Junker speeder bike. Next up, we have a Rusty speeder bike. So it's again another speeder. This one's Rusty. I think everybody kind of gets it at this point. It does have some gardening tools on the back. So yet another speeder bike. This is the Rusty speeder bike. Oops, let's get out of the way here. The next vehicle we have is Bin Gassi's Pod Racer. This is definitely from the Phantom Menace. And there you go. Look at Boba Fett, just so patient. No lasers here, so it is purely meant from getting place to place. Or racing. So, I know a lot of us have erased the Phantom Menace from our memories, but there you go. Vesper Ducks Pod Racer. Another pod racer from the Phantom Menace. Attached by chains. I mean, when you're on Jakku and you're doing races, I guess it makes sense to have some pod racers. Good little way to get them in there. I don't feel like they did it at the expense of any vehicles, so you know we're pretty cool with it. So there you go, another pod racer. Oh, I'm sure there's more. And the Losan Industries pod racer. Now this one's actually kind of cool looking. Definitely more fleet and elegant. I don't remember who all the pod races are, to be completely honest with you. So I don't remember like who drove what, which one was Anakin's, any of that stuff. I'm a pretty big Star Wars nut, but you know, again, I think a lot of us have tried to forget about pod racing. Now this is pod racing. Alright, so next up we have Poe's Blue X-Wing microfigure. So when Poe had a blue X-Wing, this was it. I love the way the wings kind of expand when it's going normal, and then they go down when it's not. So there you go. All vehicle microfigures. There's Poe's Blue X-Wing. Next up we have the First Order Transporter. This is what all the First Order troops get brought down in. And Boba's going to go ahead and fly it from the top. So yeah, there you go, the First Order Transporter. Let's see what else we got here. We've got the Special Forces TIE Fighter, and we've got my Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot right here. I feel like if we're going to do some piloting, we needed Boba Fett because he's my favorite character in the game, and we needed an ace pilot. And who better than the Special Forces TIE Fighter? Love this guy. So, really cool look for the First Order TIE Fighter. So, alright, there he is. And next up, we have the Finalizer. Oh my god, it's a Star Destroyer. Then it's so small. It's so small. I thought it'd be actually a little bit bigger than this. Just a teeny bit bigger. But it's not. And it's adorable. So there you go. The Star Destroyer Finalizer. That is another one of our trusty vehicles. Next up we have the Millennium Falcon. It's gonna be kind of weird, Boba Fett flying the Millennium Falcon. Never thought I'd see the day. So, you know, this is obviously one that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. The Falcon is the Falcon. It's a classic, you know. It's one of the more iconic vehicles in all the land, not just Star Wars. Like, I think anybody can see it's one of those vehicles that transcends things. So you're probably want to use the Falcon a bit. I know whenever I got to play as it in Star Wars Battlefront, I was always super excited. So there you go, the Millennium Falcon. Next up, we have the Quad Jumper. And here he is, ready to jump some quads. So, pretty straightforward vehicle. Probably not one of the more exciting ones, but moving right along, we have the Eravana. This is Han Solo's new ship. And it's bigger than a Star Destroyer, apparently. And, you know, it's funny. You'd think it would actually go the other way around, but it doesn't. The big end goes front. So it's kind of like a hammerhead. Shark, that is. There you go. The Aravana cargo ship. So, looks like there's lots of bays for cargo. No surprise that Conja Club and the Guavians were, speaking of Guavians, were able to get on there. Now, this is honestly one of my favorite vehicles to use. I love the color red, but this one just looks awesome. Like, the Guavian troopers look awesome. And, yeah. So there you go. There's the Guavian vessel. Guavian Marauder. Alright, here's the Imperial TIE Bomber. And we'll go ahead and get our TIE Fighter out here. So this, it does shoot lasers. It would be awesome if it dropped bombs too, since that is exactly what it's for. Missed opportunity on this one, but still, you know, it's a cool vehicle. So there you go, the TIE Bomber. You know, it's a little bit wider because it has bombs. Alright, next up on this row is the Takodana Cruiser. So there you go, the Takodana Cruiser cruises the land of Takodana. That I'm being a little too literal. I know it. Alright, so our next vehicle is the last one on row one. It is the Takodana Skipper. And it is now over here. And this is just a little smaller, you know, skiff, if you will. Whoa. Boba just totally hopped and skipped right on over me. So let's go ahead and check it out. It's got a pretty cool look. Getting ourselves into trouble over here. So, there you go. There is the Takodana Skipper. Next up, we have the Rebel Alliance Y-Wing. Very popular vehicle for the Rebel Alliance. This is a bomber as well. And it's one of the vehicles, like the X-Wing, that was out there in the trench run doing its thing. Whoa. So, I think there's a lot of people that'll enjoy playing as that one. We're going to switch up our pilot here. I think we're going to go get Poe Dameron, if I can find him. There he is. Get him in his fighter suit. There we go. Boba and Poe. And Poe's ship is actually coming up here. Oh, look at it. I actually did not plan that. But since we're going to fly his special X-Wing, we might as well bust out Poe Dameron himself. I love Poe's starfighter, and if I was still collecting vehicles, I would have insta-bought his X-Wing. Just such a cool look, you know? Having the custom X-Wings, all different colors. I really thought that was a really nice touch. So there we go. Poe Dameron, and his specialized X-Wing. Alright, so next up on our vehicle list countdown, we've got Kylo Ren's command shuttle. And look at that. Kind of reminds me of like some of the old Republic ships. Or one of the Sith Lords had a starfighter that was kind of like this, where the wings, well, I guess it kind of is just a modified like Imperial shuttle in a lot of ways, but there you go, Kylo Ren's shuttle. Looking pretty dope. Next up, we have the Resistance Transport. Kind of reminds me of Dash Rendar's starship. I can't remember what that was called, but he had his starship and it was kind of sideways like this. I feel like they stole it from there. This is kind of a cool one. Popping wheelies. So, there you go, another ship. Next up, we have the Rebel Alliance B-Wing, and these guys are pretty cool. They can actually fly both ways, I believe. Not just like this, but they could actually fly upright. Where those lasers are shooting from, those actually spread out as wings, and they can fly upright as well. So, kind of makes it a little bit like Slave 1 when it does that. So, there you go. There is the B-Wing. So, next up, we have the First Order Snowspeeder. Again, First Order Snowspeeder. Kind of like the Rebel Snowspeeder as well, but obviously it looks a little bit different here. Mostly because it's a Lego figure. I don't know how it really actually compares in the movie, but I don't think they were actually in the movie. I don't remember seeing them personally. Next up, we have a Resistance X-Wing. And there you go. I think this is the X-Wing that Poe had. Well, the blue X-Wing from earlier is the X-Wing that Poe had when he got caught by Kylo Ren. So, there you go. Just another X-Wing. Next up, we have an Imperial TIE Interceptor. So the Interceptor was kind of more like in line with what Darth Vader had. These ones are meant for speed. They're faster than the normal TIE Fighter, and they're faster, of course, than the TIE Bomber. TIE Bombers are a little bit more majestic and meant to drop bombs. But yeah, what I really love about this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it alternates where it shoots from, which is pretty cool looking. Alright, let's go back to Boba. And, oops. Next up, we have the First Order TIE Fighter. So we'll get that one out. And then right next to it, we're actually going to get the other one. Where is it? The Special Forces. So basically the difference between the two is Special Forces gets the red front. Oh, look at all these vehicles here. That's kind of cool. But here's just the basic one. Now, I mean, some people might say, oh, that's filler, but I guess theoretically it is. But I think the vehicle filler is way, way, way cooler than some of the character filler. So, yeah. There you go. Let's get somebody else in here. Let's change it up a little bit. We're going to change it up, and we're going to get White Boba Fett. Haha. So our next vehicle is going to be one of the two coolest vehicles in the game, This is the Starkiller base, and so perfectly timed to get white Boba Fett for Starkiller base. Oh, look at that rapid fire. This thing is OP too. Both the Death Star and Starkiller base, if you actually go in and do one of the micro battles, micro vehicle battles, they're like one-shot kills where some of the other vehicles are not. They're, you know, just like typical fight. So obviously Starkiller base, you wouldn't expect to fly it around. I feel like I'm flying around Ego the Living Planet or Unicron. So there we go. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and switch back up because Slave 1's coming up. So we're gonna go back to the other Boba Fett. It's all Boba Fett all the time. So next up on our list, we have Luke's Land Speeder. Obviously, a classic vehicle that has also acquired some lasers. This is from Episode 4. You know, A New Hope, obviously. And, you know, this is basically the ship that Luke had that they used. They sold it. This is not the droid you're looking for. So, it fits so well on Jakku. Like, all the Episode 4 stuff fits so well. This is a Rebel Alliance A-Wing. I swear. A Rebel Alliance A-Wing. There we go. Now, I will say this about Star Wars Battlefront. If you're playing Battlefront, you never want to be the X-Wing. You always want to be the A-Wing. So, the A-Wing is just one of the other fighters. It's kind of a take... I mean, if you're going by history, it's kind of a take on the Jedi Starfighters. Obviously, they created this in the cinematic form well before there was such a thing as a Jedi Starfighter. But you know, they're give or take about not the same, but they're similar. All right, so we saw Starkiller base. Now we can look at. Actually, let's get them both out. We saw Starkiller base. Now we can look at the Death Star 2. Dude, look at that. So Starkiller, oh, that's actually kind of cool too. Starkiller base is actually bigger than the Death Star 2. So let's get them side by side. No, don't break. Yeah, that's perfect. That's super appropriate. They did a good job there. You know, just these are the minor details that the TT Games crews always seem to get right. You know, you're gonna have a rideable, playable Death Star 2. And you have to remember, it's I mean, I know it's not to scale bigger, but it's substantially, you know, Starkiller base is substantially bigger than Death Star 2. What I love about Death Star 2 is it's not finished. It's got the side open over here. Look at that. That is so cool. And oh man, so many lives lost by the terrorist attack from the rebels. So there you go, Death Star 2. Now you get this vehicle, this is the last vehicle that you acquire in the game. You get it when you beat the bonus level at the end of the game. The Starkiller Destruction level. Here's one that I was looking forward to, the Imperial AT-AT. Oh, this is so funny. This is fantastic. He runs around like he's a horse. Now, I know some of you have probably... There's like a really great like animated kind of short online where the AT-AT runs around like it's a dog. And, man, this is so cool. I love it. They did a really great job on the animation here. One of the things that you also really start to notice when you get zoomed in on some of these is how it has the Lego name on the actual studs that you lock into place. Those are the type of things you don't necessarily always notice. So man, that one's really, really cool. I Definitely up there. I'm going to do a top 5 favorite vehicle video at some point. And that's definitely going to be on there. Next up, we have the Millennium Falcon again. One of them is the Jakku version, and one of them is the classic. I believe this is the classic. So, and again, Boba Fett riding the Millennium Falcon. There you go. Let's get over here. So yeah, I think that was classic Falcon. Yeah, so that's the Millennium Falcon Classic. Next we have a Rebel X-Wing. Obviously this one has more of a red flare to it, whereas the Resistance ones had a blue kind of tint to it. So there you go. This has a red protocol droid as well. I actually don't remember seeing the other one. So yeah, there you go. The Rebel Alliance X-Wing. Our next vehicle is the Imperial AT-ST. And this one runs pretty cute too. Oh no! Destroyed by the Falcon. So it kind of runs along and does its thing. You know, just a really cool vehicle. We mostly saw these on Endor in the movie. Yeah, there was some in Hoth too. But yeah, there you go. That's a pretty cool one. Next up we have, oh, here we go. Here is Akbar's starfighter with a red astromech. Again, kind of reminds me of the Jedi starfighters. So there we go. And next up we have a Rebel Alliance Snowspeeder. So let's go ahead and check out that one. Ooh, I love it. Looks pretty awesome. Looking sharp, kid. Alright, let's go ahead and actually do a comparison view here. Where was... Here it is. The First Order Snowspeeder. So this is more of like an open skiff kind of thing. There's the two Snowspeeders side by side. And this is more of your traditional... Well, I mean, I guess... It's traditional because it's the Snowspeeder. And next up, last on this one, we have the Jakku Scavenger. So there you go, a Jakku Scavenger. This one actually is kind of cool. Reminds me a little bit of a buzzard droid. Design is really nice. Even though it's supposed to be, you know, a little barren, if you will. Very plain and basic. But Boba Fett makes anything look awesome, so there's that. Alright, so last row. And alright, we'll switch up a character. Who do I want to go to? Who do I want to go to? I don't even know. I didn't think that one out. We're going to go to Shakti. Alright, so just because I think she's beautiful. Beautifully made. So the Rebel Alliance transport looks a little bit like a B-Wing. Except you transport people in its buttocks. So Shakti flying, profiling. Vehicles in this game feel so much more useful than they do in the Lego Marvel and Lego Batman games. I can definitely say that. So, definitely a great job. The Prana Predator. Definitely a great job by TT there. Finding a way. I mean, obviously you've got starfighter battles. I wish that they made Like, I know that there's levels where you can do it, but I wish there were, like, almost like hub world levels, or even just, like, a space battler where you can just fly around in space and just shoot things. Like, you know, that would be really cool, and you're able to, kind of like the hub world, and just switch them up, you know? It would have been really nice if they did do that. Maybe they did. I feel like I wasn't looking when I unlocked something, and I don't remember what it was, but I also just totally did not see which vehicle I just acquired here. This is the Rathtar Wrangler, and this is actually a really cool looking ship. You know, I really appreciate the design on this one. I wonder who came up with it. If this is like a TT kind of design, or if they worked hand in hand with Star Wars and Disney, Lucas, whoever it may be. Definitely a really cool one. I'm trying to think of what I could compare it to, but I really can't. So, there we go. The Rathtar Wrangler. Alright, we are going down the home stretch here. This is the Mason Martinet. So this looks like almost like an improvised Luke's land speeder. So basically, if you like yellow, there's your jam right there. We're gonna switch up from Shock T2. We're gonna go ahead and switch over. I wonder if the droids can pilot stuff. So we've got R2KT. And next up we have the Imperial Advanced TIE. And I think BB-8 can actually pilot them. So let me get my BB unit out. Oops. Let's go get BB. Oh, I keep doing it. I call it JJ because I'm pretty sure I've piloted with BB-8. Yeah, look at that. So this is just the advanced. There you go. You know, just another TIE fighter. Alright, so we're coming down the home stretch here. Next up we have the Sturdic Star. So this is almost reminds me of like one of the medical ships from the Rebel kind of fleet. It might even be. I don't actually know where this named ship is from, but this is definitely one of like the Rebel equivalent of a Star Destroyer kind of deal. So you know, where Luke and Leia kissed, I believe. Imperial shuttle. Love the Imperial shuttle. This is one of my favoriteest vehicles in all of Star Wars. I don't know what it is, but like I had this when I was younger. I will never ever. One of my favorite memories of being a kid is my Grandpa Joe, my dad's father, actually took me to Toys R Us, and we got the Imperial shuttle and the Millennium Falcon, and he bought them both for me, and it was so awesome. I feel like it's nice to have memories like that. My Grandpa Joe died when I was a freshman in high school, which was a really long time ago, like, almost 20 years ago probably. And my dad I didn't grow up around him, so I didn't actually get to hang out with him as much. You know, my dad was in the Marines, we moved around a lot. So, you know, that memory is a really, really cool one. So this was the Autogon Defense Fighter. So when you play the Autogon level, these are some of the things that you're shooting down. So these are part of the resistance, I guess. I actually love piloting as the BB-8 unit that I call JJ. if there were numbers in the game, I would call it the JJ99. Alright, so we are home stretching it. We got 5 more vehicles to go. This was the TIE Bomber. No, it wasn't a TIE Bomber. It was a TIE... just an Imperial TIE Fighter. So, you know, there's like 5 or 6 different versions of the TIE Fighter in this. And, you know, padding the numbers, sure, but I think the vehicles are just so much fun to use. Even if they're not... they're way more useful and way more user-friendly than they are in the other LEGO games. But they could have done a little bit more to make them used a little bit more in this game. I'm going to save the best for last. Here's a Vulture droid. And what's cool about this is actually not really a pilotable ship. This is actually its own kind of being as part of the droid army for the Confederacy. These little pests were not piloted. They were basically their own droid. So I love the way that the blasts alternate. So they would land on their wings and everything, and they're just a pain in the butt. Our next vehicle... oh, this one's awesome. I love this one. Jabba's Sail Barge. This is just a cool looking vehicle. I don't really love the sand barge in general, but let's see if Jabba can actually pilot it. I bet he can't. I bet Big Figures can't, but I have to see this for myself. No. I figured. But, you know, you had to try. So, Slave Leia can pilot it, though. And she will. So, yeah, Jabba's Sail Barge. That view. I feel like this is one that a lot of people... I haven't actually been speeding up with them. But I feel like that's one that a lot of people are going to use. It's a really cool look. Second to last vehicle here is a Jedi Interceptor. And this is one of the Jedi Starfighters. And Leia has the Force in her. So she is going to do her thing. Fly around. So there you go. And now it's time for the main event. This is, as far as I'm concerned, my favorite vehicle in the entire game. It is Slave freaking 1. And here's what I love about Slave 1, okay? They really, really, really nailed it with Slave 1. Whoops. Because when you get in, look at that. How epic is that? And they nailed the way it sounds. They nailed everything about it. Slave 1 is Boba Fett's personal ship. Now, the one thing that I wish they did or they could have done is when you're actually piloting Slave 1, when you're out in... oh, you can't go over that? Oh, yeah, you can. Oh, get in the air. When you're actually piloting Slave 1 out in space, the actual Slave 1, it's not as fun a view, you know, and there's not much they can do because you're obviously, you know, you've got the rear view to it, so, but it would have been really, really cool if you had just a better view of Slave 1 when you were piloting it. But there you go. Those are all the vehicles in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. I will do a top 10 favorite vehicle video coming up here soon. But for now, I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and we shall see ya. Peace.